Malaga, Spain cruise port should have been an easy port of call. Compact, loaded with interest, and close to the ship. But we started the day with a few snags. But the day itself was awesome nonetheless. We have the usual port details for you and a sample of the city's many, many DIY options. Almost too many. I'm Troy, and this is the Port Lowdown. Malaga is in southern Spain, super close to North Africa and Gibraltar, pretty much at the gateway to the Mediterranean. The region is Andalusia, often called the cultural heart of Spain. Think of it like as Bavaria is to Germany, Andalusia is to Spain for that stereotypical Spanish culture like bullfights, flamenco, and Moorish castles. And while Malaga is its own destination, it's also a cruiser's stepping stone to Granada and the famous Moorish palace Alhambra, and picture postcard villages like Frigiliana, often voted most beautiful in Spain. But Malaga is a rich place to be, with a deep arts history, this being the birthplace of Picasso, and lovely architecture. And we'll dig into all that real soon. Morning, guys. But first, let's get oriented to the port, and great news, unlike many distant and industrial ports in Europe, this one is essentially at the town's feet. The harbor faces the front of the city and has a 5-ship capacity, while the Lucky Ducks and small luxury ships dock right at the Terminal El Palmeral in front. The bigger ships dock about 1 mile south at the Estación Marítima de Levante. Terminals A and B have permanent terminal buildings, while the long arm jetty just south can handle 2 more. And if you're docked at the very tip, it's 800 meters of exposed walking to the terminal. The terminals themselves are beautiful indoor retreats from the summer heat. Lots of seating. Elevators too. Wheelchair assistance is also available, a very inclusive facility. Downstairs towards the exit are recent additions for shopping, where we grab some local brand chips. We're always on the hunt for chips somehow. And excellent bathrooms, of course. Handicap stalls are complete with sinks and even baby changers. A Euronet ATM is on site, but we don't recommend these because of the high fees they charge. Spain uses the euro, of course, but credit cards are pretty much accepted everywhere, including the legal taxis. For ATM action, the closest bank-connected one, which we favor, is CaixaBank, about an 18 to 20 minute walk from the terminal. Now, first order of business is getting to town, which effectively starts at the end of Paseo de la Farola with the Centre Pompidou Malaga Art Museum and the huge Parc de Malaga. The walk from the port terminals is paved, flat, and very popular with local joggers. But it will take about 20 to 25 minutes, mostly without shade. And when it's hot, which it often is here, it can be an uncomfortable, albeit doable option. So if you don't want to face the heat, you got plenty of choices. Most expensive were the ship-sponsored shuttles, which met just next to the ship excursion buses, of course. This one was $18 round trip per person. The ride is about 5 minutes, dropping off at Plaza de la Marina at the northwest corner of the marina facing town, and right next to the tourist information office. This was the go-to drop-off point. Next is the Port Authority shuttle, for about €5 per person each way. It pretty much drops you off in the same area. Now at the terminal, the pickup point will not be the same as the ship tours. Instead, you need to follow the signs to the center parking lot. If the tourist information office isn't open, best bet is to ask a uniformed officer to direct you. This big parking lot also serves the private tour buses, and even a car rental lot. Ho-Ho bus pickup is also here, with tickets available at the terminal, but you'll need to walk out here to meet it. Also in the terminal were electric bike rentals, which didn't require an app to ride. This option is good for round trips, but there's little support or docking stations in the city proper. Speaking of electric, there's electric touring cars outside as well. I'll leave web links for all these, but the terminal goes all out for options. Just no local transit bus stop directly at the terminals. Which leaves us with calling a ride, and this one was supposed to be simple. The official white and blue stripe taxis are required to accept the next ride on their queue. The minimum fare to start, €9.45 per vehicle as of recording, is designed to make even short trips worthwhile for them. But maybe it was because we were early and not a lot of people were out there yet, but the drivers refused to take us the short distance into town center. The cabs are focused on giving tours and not transportation necessarily from point to point. Now legally, they can't do that. In practice, they can hold out and make you try another driver. So actually we changed gears. We decided to take Uber, and we called it. It's taking a while. It was 10 minutes, now it's 11 minutes, now it's 8 minutes, because there's not a lot of Uber out there. So we waited for a driver to accept the fare, which itself took time, and still longer for the ride to get there. All things considered, we got the best deal possible. So here's my takeaway after all that. Walk if you can, shuttle if you can be patient with the sometimes long waits in line and on board, Uber or taxi if you must. Once at town proper though, the city was super easy because it's compact. In fact, within less than a square mile, you have 3 zones of interest to focus on. The Fortress Hill, site of Alcazaba and Gibralfaro Castle. This is the only section, by the way, where you get some serious Stairmaster action. The rest of the city is flat, with decent sidewalks. The historic core, a pedestrian-only maze which includes the Malaga Cathedral and Picasso Museum, not to mention a ton of other museums scattered about, in fact, over 30. And the waterfront, with the trendy Soho district, the Mercado Market at its edge, Malaga Park, and, oh yeah, there's a beach here too, Playa La Malagueta. Like I said, Malaga is a rich place to be. So, rubbing our hands in anticipation, we had a plan. Go early to the Fortress Hill, beat the heat and the crowds. Best place to start? Alcazaba, an 11th century citadel often described as a smaller sibling to Alhambra. It dominates the cityscape and is pretty much an essential visit for a first-timer. You enter via the Calle Alcazaba, facing the Roman Theater. Never seen a Roman theater like right in town center. The uphill path leads to the ticket office, which gives you a preview of what to expect up the hill. They have self-serve ticket kiosks where you can also buy a combo ticket for next door Castillo de Gibralfaro. Free audio guides as well. The cooler morning weather was a good thing, as we did a lot of uphill walking on ancient cobblestone. My wife's walking stick certainly came in handy here. Yeah, there's a stumbling symbol here. There's no railing. Now for those with mobility issues, there's an elevator tucked behind City Hall. It's a lifesaver, but it's often closed on Mondays or down for maintenance, so have a plan B, like a bus or taxi, just in case. Needless to say, this would be pretty difficult for a wheelchair. And there will be crowds trooping with you along the narrow passages, but all that is worth the effort. The views from the top section are lovely and peaceful, offering a grand city view. Islamic-style gardens and beautiful courtyards belay what is essentially a fortress. Lots of tight spaces and alleys to explore as well, but again, you need to be able-bodied. Castillo de Gibralfaro is up the hill next door, but you'll need to exit Alcazaba and hike around, FYI. Many tour buses simply drive up, but the active types burn their breakfast here, stopping at the free halfway point, Mirador de Gibralfaro, with views of the bullring and your ship. Now, just a 4-minute walk from the Roman Theater is that other essential destination, the Museo Picasso Malaga. And we do recommend booking ahead online with a pre-arranged time slot, because the lines here can get pretty long, with this being the most popular museum in the city. But even with a reserve ticket, still had to wait about 15 minutes through security gates. But the wait is worth it, since this collection spans Picasso's entire career from his academic studies to his revolutions with Cubism, most of which were donated or loaned by Picasso's surviving family. It's compact and actually doesn't take long to visit, perhaps a few hours, but it packs a punch for the comprehensive nature of the exhibits. Don't expect his most famous works here though. Guernica, for example, is in Madrid, but you will get a better understanding of Picasso's evolution as an artist. There's also the Museo Casa Natal de Picasso, his childhood home turned museum, another 5-minute walk north. Like we said, lots of museums are a quick walk away, such as the Museum of Malaga, housed in a stunning old customs house, the Flamenco Museum, Peña Juan Breva, with performances on Thursdays and Saturdays, OXO Museo Malaga for video games, and the Interactive Music Museum, not to mention the Pompidou Center. Phew, All of this can get pretty overwhelming, frankly, especially when city streets like this can block a phone signal or just get you confused. So we created this handy tool to use without a signal, our Essential Port Guide PDF. It has a snapshot of all the essentials you need to start your day, like ATMs and points of interest, all in a specially designed package with color-coded routes. And if you have Signal, we also attached a curated Google Map list for quick directions to the city highlights. And if you want to give this a spin, see our link in the description or visit our store at portlowdown.com. Now, food is always central to any destination we go to.
Ooh, nice.
Markets are magnets to us. From the Picasso Museum, it was naturally a short 11-minute walk to the Mercado Central de Atarazanas. Here, in this stunning 19th century building, you get a bustling overview of Spanish food culture.
Hey look, they got the legs and stirrups. It's the size of my hand, they did.
The variety here is amazing, but unless you're an expert at competitive standing at a crowded tapas counter, you'll find very little actual seating. It's a carry-out market in the traditional sense, pretty much. And this place is closed on Sundays, fair warning. But we did find this gem, Bar Los Pueblos, just down the street. It's been there for over 70 years and is famous for its menu de la dia, the daily fixed price menu.
The menu, you could choose one primary plate, a second dish, and then the garnish or whatever it is. And then you got the drink, the dessert, and all, including the service and the tax. €12.40 per person. Cannot beat that. And we know we hit the jam when you go to a restaurant and you have to pull out your phone to translate the menu and understand how to order. And half of the time we still don't know what you're ordering. So we all order different one. My son ordered callos con garbanzo, which is garbanzo bread, you know, the beans. And you could see it's actually pork soup with all these different part of pork. Way to go for his adventure. Let me try. A little bit spicy, a little bit sour. The beans is definitely very strong. Mine is pretty simple. I just got the local paella, a little bit of squirt of lemon. Definitely better than the one on the ship. And this one is chicken liver. Actually, it's not chicken liver. This is chicken fillet. And this is the example how Google Translate might mislead you. Not that I'm complaining, but this is good.
So that's the salad, right?
The tomato, if you've seen it in the market, they're humongous. It's so good. And let me try the pimentos, which is the bell pepper. Sour, cold, refreshing. Definitely a perfect companion to a fried food.
We got a shuttle back to port since the heat was crushing by then. Don't underestimate the Andalusian sun here. It's one of the hottest regions in Europe. And in summer, when we were there, it was pretty miserable even with an umbrella. Let's just say we were grateful for the lift back, even if we did stand in a hot, long line outside to get back to the air-conditioned terminal. So give yourself enough time to get back, since the late afternoon rush is a real thing. With so much to do here, we absolutely need several return trips, even before we strike out to Granada. Someday. If you got good value from this video, be sure to like and share with your shipmates. And keep those comments and questions coming. We love them and answer them as soon as we can. Happy travels, and see you on the next cruise.